Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Premier Injuries Daily Update. It's Monday. It's been a very busy weekend, so let's crack on. And where to start first? Then Stamford Bridge, where Graham Potter, he made 7 changes against Wolves on Saturday. Most FPL managers would be hit by at least one of those changes. So best to try and go through those best we can to explain some of the rationale behind some of those enforced and tactical decisions with regards to that initial lineup. Now, Thiago Silva, who went against Thiago in that predicted lineup, that's because a 38-year-old veteran defender had already started in 2 previous games. So it was always going to be a stretch, particularly with likes of Chabaloa and Kubalali all ready and waiting in the wings. As it happened, he was struggling with a little bit of cold, a little bit of illness. So he was given the weekend off. Elsewhere in defence on the left-hand side, we also seen the return of Marc Cucurella. Again, I didn't fancy Ben Chilwell for the start. We know he's returning off that long-term ACL rupture, long-term knee problem. So again, it's always wise to protect him. Cucurella had been cleared following that throat infection. For Kovacic, we know they had this ongoing knee problem that rumbled on through the summer. Only recently rejoined the squad fully in training, only been a few weeks now. So again, the decision to take him out of that starting 11 was with that in mind. Reece James, that was a surprise. That hurt. Me included, that he picked up a dead leg in training. Nothing too serious. We've seen him come off the bench. And again, Graham Potter was going to err on the side of caution with that one. And 2, Raheem Sterling and Aubameyang, those were both management issues in terms of managing the players' loads given their recent output. So, you don't want to get those players picking up soft tissue, muscle problems, particularly in and around the Champions League with those fixtures coming thick and fast. So hopefully I've covered most of those Chelsea updates. Elsewhere, Brendan Rodgers confirmed that Timothy Castagne was forced off after taking a knock to the eye, around the eye socket. That swelled up fairly quickly, and again, didn't want to take too many chances and removed him as a precaution. There were a few surprises in the Wolves lineup, namely in the absence of Ruben Neves, who was serving that 1-match ban. We were expecting Boubou Traoré to possibly come in for his first start of the season, but he was omitted from the matchday squad altogether. In fact, he didn't travel, and again, that was because of illness. Now, a lot of that going around at the moment. For Tottenham and Harry Kane, he picked up a late ankle knock. He confirmed post-match that he didn't think it was too serious. There wasn't a sprain. He didn't roll it. It was more of a knock. Like I say, so it was more of a precautionary withdrawal. That was in time added on, so that's not something that I would expect to carry over. The question mark may be against Frankfurt in the Champions League, but certainly looking ahead to game week 11, I would fully expect Harry Kane to be involved. And now across to Liverpool, who of course lost 3-2 at the Emirates against Arsenal. Now that result was compounded by the loss of a further 2 players, and Jurgen Klopp initially described those injuries as not good. Now Trent, he picked up an ankle injury early on in the game. I think it was Gabriel Martinelli came across, challenge, rolled his ankle, indication that it could be some kind of lateral ankle sprain there that needs to be assessed. Now, in the 7 years that Jurgen Klopp said he's been working with Trent, this is the first time that he's ever asked to be replaced, and that ankle was swelled up fairly immediately. So that one will be assessed again. Doesn't look great. And also an injury to Luis Diaz. That was in a challenge with Thomas Partey. Initially, it looked as if it was a clash of knees, but he was seen holding the inside, that medial aspect of his knee, that medial collateral ligament. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's better than it did look. But again, Jurgen Klopp wasn't too optimistic. Further news from the Liverpool camp prior to that, we had heard about Arthur Melu, who had picked up a muscle injury on the eve of the Rangers game. Now, when talking, Jurgen Klopp had said that assessments and evaluations were still ongoing. Now, the news comes out that it's actually a thigh problem, a rupture, or it's certainly a serious tear, maybe an avulsion fracture that comes off the bone, and that's going to involve some kind of surgical repair. So we certainly won't be looking to see the on-loan midfielder back this year, and the likely return to play schedule is round about 3 to 4 months, so not great with regards to that. Manchester United, they played late on Sunday night. Anthony Martial was named in that United start 11. However, he didn't last too long, in and around that 30-minute mark. He was forced off with what Erik ten Hag described as a back issue, so certainly not related to his previous problems, his Achilles and a hamstring issues directly. The full extent of which remains to be seen. He will be assessed over the next 24 to 48 hours. In midfield, Scott McTominay came off the bench. He picked up his 5th yellow card of the season, which basically locks Casemiro in for game week 11. For Fulham, unfortunate for Mitrovic owners, he didn't make the match day squad. However, we did hear from Marco Silva, and he said he would definitely be available in game week 11, so good news there. Also note that Harry Wilson was included in the match day squad for the first time this season. Also, we've seen the return of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He got in and around 15 minutes from the bench against Manchester United for Frank Lampard's side. So that was great to see. We also had one change from the Toffees on the day. That was Gordon coming in at the expense of Dwight McNeil. However, game week 11, I would expect those to flip-flop as Gordon, again, picked up his 5th caution of the campaign, which will rule him out for the next match. Back to Arsenal, there's a little bit of surprise in that lineup. Not the fact that Zinchenko missed out. We know that he had been managing an ongoing muscle problem, believed to be calf-related. That kept him out of the European fixture on Thursday, although it was initially described as a precautionary measure. The surprise came in actually who started on that left side, and it was Takehiro Tomiyasu. He was preferred over Kieran Tierney. Now, Kieran Tierney did start midweek European match, so it could be the fact that, again, giving the fullbacks ongoing injury problems. He's been managed. Tomiyasu's been knocking on the door for a while, unable to displace Ben White on that right-hand side. So Mikel Arteta swapped flanks, and he started there on the left-hand side. And finally, we end today's daily update on a really sad note. We've heard from Brighton's player himself, and Enoch Mwepu announces that he will be retiring with immediate effect. Now, what we do know is Mwepu went away on international duty with Zambia. Unfortunately picked up some kind of illness which hospitalized the player for 4 days. Now, subsequent tests revealed a hereditary heart defect, a condition that is exacerbated by exercise. Now, he's basically being told that if he was continue, then there's a high probability, a likelihood that he will have a serious episode, and therefore the decision has been taken for him to retire with immediate effect, although he already stressed that he will remain in football. So best wishes with Enoch on his future. Very sad news with that one. So that's it for now with regards to your injury updates. Again, press that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions, either bang them at Ben Dinnery on Twitter or pop them in the comments box below, and we see you all again very soon.